Once we start testing, even just 100 customer, 50 customer, the needs was really clear. They don't care, for example, the package of the box. So even if we at beginning we send them a USB-S box, they don't care because once they get it, just throw away right away. And with COVID, they don't even want to touch your box anymore. So but then they do care and they don't want big logo. They maybe it's we thought they were like big huge logo. I'm already wearing Ted Baker and Hugo Boss and Armani,
Mm,
but no, they were like I just want to be comfortable, looks put together, high quality items. And even if from individual designers, as long as high quality and comfortable performers, then I'm good. And in fact, I don't want to advertise it for anyone. I don't want logo shirts. So there are so many those subtle details that we didn't know and or even cannot imagine. But once you start testing, people just tell you the same thing. The theme just emerge and very quickly you will know the answer. So testing your hypothesis with a minimal viable product.
Hey everyone, this is Devin Miller here with another episode of The Inventive Journey. I'm your host, Devin Miller, the serial entrepreneur that's grown several startups into 7- and 8-figure businesses, as well as a founder and CEO of Miller IP Law, where we help startups and small businesses with their patents and trademarks. You ever need help with yours? Just go to strategymeeting.com, grab some time with us to chat, and we're always here to help. Now, today we've got another great guest on the podcast, Anya Cheng. And Anya is originally from Taiwan, so went to college in Taiwan, and then was a reporter and went into marketing. Came to the U.S. to get a master's degree, I think, in advertising and marketing. Wrote a book, and then after a lot of work of trying to get the book published or tracking or tracking that down without any luck, went to New York and L.A. and started working or stayed with a friend looking for some opportunities, and then was connected with the CEO of the New York Times. Went back to Chicago, connected with a farmers magazine to discuss their competitors, and worked with that magazine as a contractor for a while. Worked with a few other businesses, also taught at a few universities, and then or started her startup about a year ago for renting clothing to professionals for interviews and special events. So with that much as an introduction, welcome on the podcast, Anya.
Hello, this is Anya Chen, founder and CEO of Taelor. Taelor is a menswear rental subscription. We help busy men look good without buying clothes for the everyday wear, not just a special occasion. For flat monthly fee, our stylists help you style and then get ready for the day. Before starting Taelor, I was at
But
Facebook.
and before that, and I said just as a reminder for both you and the audience, so we started the high school college time frame, and we're unpacking now your journey of how you got to where you're at today. So maybe rewinding history a bit or rewinding the story a bit. Maybe tell us how your journey got started in Taiwan in college.
Yeah. I was so before how did I walk all the way to Taylor and also at Facebook was that I start my careers as you mentioned us in marketing side. So I get my master degree in marketing in Northwestern University and where I focus a lot on advertising and business. And the story that you mentioned was that out of college there was it happened to be 2008. There was no job anywhere. So then
So yeah,
I
let's just slow down your story just a little bit so that we
sure.
or don't jump over it too much. So went to college in Taiwan and got the degree there, and what was that degree in?
It's actually Korean, so now I don't remember anything. Only when I watch Korean drama, I can say Salangheo, but I remember nothing by now.
So you got the degree there, and then and so you graduated, and then what was the motivation or prompting? I think you mentioned that you came to the U.S. to get a master's degree. What was the genesis or the motivation there?
Yeah, at the age 21, I worked for the largest newspaper in Taiwan. I thought I knew everything, which I actually knew nothing. So one day there's a friend who went back to Taiwan visiting. He lives in Silicon Valley, and he asked me, "Oh, Anya, who do you work for?" And I said, "Oh, I work for Apple." Apple Daily is the largest newspaper in Taiwan at the time. So everybody knows it, like read like New York Times there. So I said Apple. And the guy's like, oh yeah, Apple computer. I love it. You guys in Silicon Valley. It was a moment that I was so embarrassed with myself. I realized my world was so small. And I definitely don't know the part of the world in the US, and which inspired me to came to US for my master's degree in marketing.
Okay, makes perfect sense. So now you came to the US and got the degree in marketing, and as you're coming out of getting the master's degree, kind of where did you start out, or where did your journey pick up from there?
Yeah, so I went to Northwestern University, and my mom asked me, "Why did you pick Northwestern?" I say because in I'm from Taiwan, and Northwest sounds like in Taiwan means that jobless. So my mom's like, "What? It sounds a horrible school." I said, "No, no, no. It's actually backed by a huge conglomerate called Northwest Airline, which of course is Southwest Airline, and they are not related." So I thought it was a great school because it has a huge airline company behind. I was totally wrong. And so I came here, and then after the master's degree happened to be 2008. It was a
Mm.
time after Lehman Brothers went bankruptcy, 2 months after I graduate. And there was no job anywhere. So I print out 2000 alumni. I went to New York for a month and staying in friends' living room and knock on the door for all of the alumni. And I found newspaper on the newsstands on the street because I was very interested in working for a media company to do marketing. And so I found those newspaper. I actually called the number, say, if you want advertise, call this number. And then so I called calling all of those newspaper, and then eventually met with the CEO of New York Times and CNN, NBC. Everyone said, you are amazing, but we are not hiring. We are laying off people. By the way, I'm looking for a job because my company is laying off people. Do you know who is hiring? So I came back to Chicago. I reached out to a farmer's magazine that I met when I graduated, and I showed them, hey, I learned from those companies in New York and LA. Do you want to know what those amazing media companies are doing? And before I went on the interview, I put together a business plan. I told them that if you want to do these things, and then I learned from them, I calling your customers and reader. I went to salon to visit those salon owner who are also their reader. They have multiple titles, and eventually put a business plan together. The
Mm.
CEO asked me, okay, would you like to be a contractor? I said, yes, I didn't know what that mean. My English was so bad. I went home, I Google, I didn't know why she want me to be a plumber, but I got my first job in the US.
Mm. So now so it sounds like an interesting or fun journey that you took to getting that first job. And so if I remember our conversation a little bit, it was kind of working for the Farmers magazine, and you were kind of discussing the competition and doing that magazine. Now, how long did you work as a contractor there, or how did that job go?
Yeah, I worked there for 6 months as a contractor. They convert me to be full time after. I worked almost 3 years there, and it was a great starting point. And because there, I did a lot of media buying, media selling, like planning out of different advertising unit on the side, for example. So Sears reached out to me, and they were looking for someone who knows media buying. So on the other side of on the retailer who want to buy media, so they hired me. And once I start doing the media buying, I realized, hey, they asked me, okay, CNN works or ESPN work, which title should we buy? And then I told them that I think that I most work is will be inventive journey, and the podcast will be the best. No, no, no. I asked them. So what I found was that anything with data driven works better. People want to
Mm.
see relevant ads. So I kind of start my career in big data personalizations, and then running the personalization teams for them. And that's also where I start my career. After that, I have a lot of people seeing the relevant advertising. But then when they click on the ad, when they went to Sears.com and Kmart.com, they only see the same homepage. So then I knock on the door for another product team, say, hey, product team, this is so dumb. They see refrigerator ad, they should see refrigerator homepage, not apparel homepage. They say, I
Mm.
don't know what to do. You are the expert in personalization. Do you want to join the team and helping us to make personalizing websites? And that's how I started my career as a product management side and eventually became head of product.
No, it sounds like a fun journey that you took together. So now you worked with there, you worked your way up and did that and did the magazine. And I think you, as we talked, you worked for a few different businesses along the way and also taught at a university. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm right now also teaching at Northwestern University. I teach in the engineering school, business school, marketing school, journalism school. I teach product management, making app, making website, as well as teaching marketing.
So now you're teaching there, and so you're and was that, or how did you get into teaching, or how did that opportunity come about?
Yeah, as someone who came from a humble home, my mom is housewife, and my dad is a factory worker. So I never dreamed of, thought that I have a chance to get into, eventually became head of product for a fan company like Meta. So I always want to give back to a community. And so every year I went back to school giving a presentation. I hire a lot of students. I help them to write resumes. So I'm no stranger, even I graduated from the school. And so after that, and 2 years ago, there was a professor passed away, and they invite me to go to the activity, and then at that time there were other professors say, yeah, you teach here every quarter as a guest speaker. Do you want to come adjunct and just help us out for temporary? It's a class that was always been a core class that in Chicago, but it happened to be during the pandemic. So they were like, yeah, that's totally fine if you are actually working remote from San Francisco. And
Mm.
that's how I start back to campus and help them just as a part-time, what was like a week, an hour or two per week.
No, makes perfect sense. So now you're working there, you're doing the teaching, you're also working at the other jobs. Now taking us a bit further along in the journey, kind of now as you're going down that. How did you get or arrive at or get to where you're kind of doing this startup now? Was it economy slowed down and layoffs and people were doing it, or you always wanted to be an entrepreneur and you decided to make the leap, or you had an opportunity you couldn't pass up, or kind of how did you get into the business you're doing now? Because you were working for others, you're doing it or teaching at the university, sounds like you're still doing that a bit, but how did you kind of make the leap to starting your business?
Yeah. After years, I have been always working for big companies like the Target, help them to launch a Silicon Valley office. McDonald's help them to launch food delivery before Uber had Uber Eats, and then help eBay as head of product for their Latin America, Africa, and Asia business, and launch Facebook Shopping for Meta. And I found myself always loving the 0 to 1. I love ambiguity. I love the craziness. I love the a lot of like from nothing to something and from scratch.
Mm,
And but I never thought I would be an entrepreneur. Growing up in Asia, in Taiwan, only rich people can create business. Rich people are founders. No one else can be doing that. So I never thought I would do that. But a few years ago, when I start to leading large engineering team, even though I was a reporter in background, but with my career progressions into a product manager, head of product, I started leading large cross-functional team, engineer, designer, marketers, and analysts. And as a female immigrant in a tech company, I actually always feel that not really ready for the day. I feel a little bit nervous for my day of meeting with the top executive, giving a TED talks or teachings, and a lot of time I just doesn't feel I'm ready for the day. So I
mm.
start renting clothes using Rent the Runway and also considering Stitch Fix to at least look great. When you were kids, we bought some like extra books. Even though before we read it, we feel better and feel confident for the exam, even though we haven't read it yet, right? So I started using those services, just want to look good and feel ready for the day and have peace of mind. And turn out that really changed my feelings of like, okay, I know I looks ready, even though in my heart I know I'm not. And but
Mm,
I didn't like the part is that for rental subscription company like Rent the Runway and other company, they require you to browsing through thousands of items to pick the clothes. And I'm not fashionable. I actually don't know what to wear would be right. I don't care is yellow or red. I care is a job interview clothes, is a TED Talk clothes or close the deal clothes. I care the purpose and practice behind it. I also
mm,
didn't like the part that for some company like subscription box that you have to buy. I am renting. I have small space at home. I don't like clutter. So I don't want to own that much stuff. And there was a time I realized I want to make a better version of those circular fashion company, but for people who just want to get ready for a day and be successful. And then I interviewed 500 people, and a lot of people say, yes, I hate shopping. I hate laundry. I don't care what I wear, but I want to achieve the goal. Most of people are actually guys, 25 to 45 years old guy who are ambitious and busy. They don't know what to wear. They just want to get ready for the day.
so now you kind of so you use the other services. You're saying, okay, they have some good things, but I think I can do it much better, and there are deficiencies or things that need to be addressed. And so you decide that you're going to solve this problem. Now, how did there's obviously, as you mentioned, competitors out there and others doing it. So how did you kind of get started and be able to carve out your niche or your area where you could or find customers and provide the service?
Yeah, before I started, I was thinking that, you know what? I think I want to do this, but I have no clue what startup. So I decided I'm going to work for other startup and learn for a couple of years and then starting this woman's rental subscription company. But then I saw that when I interview like tens, 50s of different companies, and they all very different. There are some like founders are really geeks, and some founders are really good in speaking, and very young people or very old people. They are very different, but they all have in common is that no one have learned how to be a founder.
Mm.
Everyone is learning while they are doing the job. They seem still figuring out, and even though they've been working for a few years, they are still trying to figure out and puzzling through things. And there was a moment I realized, oh, maybe I shouldn't go work for a startup and learn to startup and then doing startup. I should be learning why I'm doing the startups. And that's also when the time that I partnered with my MBA classmates, Phoebe Tan. We both went to University of Chicago for the MBA. While I was working for Sears, I got my executive MBA there. And she knows operation, fashions, and finance. I know technology and marketing. So then we decided to team up and do this together.
No, makes perfect sense, and sounds like it was a great opportunity. So now, as you started a business, partnered up with them, and started getting going. I think you started it was about a year and a half ago.
Yes, around that time.
So now, as you're getting that up and going and starting it, how's it gone so far? Over the last year and a half, has it been a rocket ship and everybody is beating on your door and having more demand than you came up with? Is it slow going and trying to find your place in the marketplace or anything in between? But how's it gone for you?
Yeah, we started around a year ago just with just an idea and then started running some pilots, and we just when we were running pilots, we just went to the stores and buy clothes and pack it and ship it to a customer, starting from very very small. And quickly we learned so much from the experience, and we learned that, for example, we found them, we thought our customer would be maybe someone who want to be fashionable. Turn out most of our customers want to be stylish, put together, and when people walking by them, they will turn around their head. But if they are far away, no one will notice them. They want to be settled but polished, but don't want to be the supermodel. And we also learned, for example, when we thought a lot of clothing company will put the inventory on the platform of their unsold inventory, but turn out that most of our partners give us their latest collection because they want to learn customers' feedback. So besides renting out the clothes, they actually care more for using our platform as a way to get customer insights and knowing what happened after wear. Because when I was working for Target, we don't even know what happened. And you walk out to the store, you like a clothes, we don't know, you don't like it, you
Mm.
return. We don't even know if it's because it doesn't fit, but you like it, or what happened. Did you wear 10 times, 20 times? We have no clue. But in Taylor, we have those information. So we learn a lot. We use the learning fundraise. So a few months ago, we raised $2.3 million and invest by Berlin, which is the ranking number one as a founder's favorite VC in the US. So now we are significantly growing. We are moving to a new warehouse space. We now have 200 brands on the platforms. And we also have been serving a lot of more customer variety of outfit of polo, jackets, sweaters, and famous brand like Postmates and Calvin Klein's and Hugo Boss and Ted Baker's. And so definitely still super early, but start getting there.
No, makes perfect sense, and sounds like an exciting start to a great business. So, well, with that, now as we kind of are at the present day, and even in talking about your business and along your journey, it's a great time to transition to the two questions I always ask at the end of each episode. So we'll jump to those now. So the first question I always ask is, along your journey, what was the worst business decision you ever made, and what'd you learn from it?
Yeah, when we started, we went to a startup competitions. We just like many of people that we was just an idea and will not even have a business plan. So we went to a competitions, and so we when we were in the competitions, I thought I wasn't sure what to expect, so I reached out to 42 former judges of the competitions. Of course, not current judge, but former judges. So then we asked each of them to do a mock interview with us, and we did 42 times total. Of course, we reached out to hundreds of them. And every time when they ask some questions, we don't know the answer, we went out interview more customer and learns. And so by the day of the presentations, our presentation was pretty much perfect, and I have all of the questions prepared. And after the presentation, the judges start asking me questions.
Hmm.
When judge asks a question, somehow almost I stunned. Almost like I'm walking on a stage, like, like a big whole theater. The spotlight was on my face, and I was just stunned. Why? Because when judge asked a question, all I have thinking in mind wasn't, hey, I know the answer and this is my thoughts. No, I was thinking of, yes, we asked this for by the judge number 10. And after that, I put together the notes in the appendix number 17. And the answer was what? Almost like when you were students, the professor told you that there is an open book exam. So then when you see the question, you didn't try to answer the question. You went back to the book and browsing through like 10 different books and trying to find the answer. By the time that you found the answer, the clock down and then you hand out actually nothing's in the exam, right? So if you actually pay attention, be present, be yourself, just think, I know the answer perfectly. I can just answer and show my charm, and we will win a competition for 100,000, no equity, right there. But then I didn't. I stunned, and I wasn't. I was murmuring. I was all thinking about where is the answer. So the biggest mistake I made is I wasn't trusting myself. I think everyone
Mm.
else is better than me. They know more than me. No, like we're founder. We think of the same questions like 24/7. Like we know a lot than most of people. So when someone give you feedback, don't take it as what. Ask them why. Think of the insight behind. Ask them why. Why you think this is a feedback, and then decide from there. Will those insight help you to get better improvement, or if not, then move on. You know yourself and you know the stuff very well.
No, I think that's definitely makes great sense, and it's one of those where I think that a lot of times when you're wanting to make a perfect presentation or a perfect pitch, you tend to memorize things, or you tend to rehearse it a lot, or otherwise get really comfortable with it, which isn't a bad thing. But almost to your point is always a drawback with that is once if you ever get thrown off, or you ever lose your train of thought, or you ever get asked questions after the fact, it can sometimes catch you off guard. So I always think that there's a natural element or aspect or fluidity to not just simply memorizing it, but part of the preparation is understanding or anticipating what, or that you're not going to know everything, and getting comfortable with that, or you're not going to have the predetermined answer. So I think that's a great mistake to learn from. Second question I always ask is, now if you're talking to somebody that's just getting into a startup or a small business, what'd be the one piece of advice you'd give them?
I think the best way to figure out what to do is to test out. So when we started, we have a lot of thought. Will our customer be students who want to do job interview? Will be salespeople who want to meet people? Will it be real estate agent who would like to showcase their personality and charms? Will there be professor who are teaching? Will be engineer who have no clue of stylings and fashions? And so we think a lot and we research a lot, and we were wondering what kind of clothes they will like, and we will have different type of persona. But once we start testing, even just 100 customer, 50 customer, the needs was really clear. They don't care, for example, the package of the box. So even if we at beginning we send them a USB-S box, they don't care because once they get it, just throw away right away. And with COVID, they don't even want to touch your box anymore. So but then they do care and they don't want big logo. They maybe it's we thought they were like big huge logo. I'm already wearing Ted Baker and Hugo Boss and Armani,
Mm.
but no, they were like, I just want to be comfortable, looks put together, high quality items. And even if it's from individual designers, as long as high quality and comfortable performers, then I'm good. And in fact, I don't want to advertise it for anyone. I don't want logo shirts. So there are so many those subtle details that we didn't know and or even cannot imagine. But once you start testing, people just tell you the same thing. The theme just emerge and very quickly you will know the answer. So testing your hypothesis with a minimal viable product. For example, like when Rent the Runway started, they tested by, hey, I think people rent dress. Instead of buying dress, they put together a lot of screenshot from department stores dress and ask a group of party people who go to party, would you like to rent those dress? People respond yes. They validate the hypothesis without big investment.
No, and I think that's a great point. And I think that, a lot of times as you're getting into a startup or a small business, you feel like you have to get the product perfect. You're only going to have one shot, and if you don't make it, if it's not perfect, then everybody's going to, nobody's going to buy it, and nobody's ever going to come back or give you another chance. And I think, to your point, a lot of times testing it out, figuring out what works earlier on, and and going through that process and iterating through it can make a much better product one on the first hand, and also you'll learn a lot as you're going along, so you're able to quickly improve and to iterate, as opposed to spending a lot of time, money, and effort for things that may or may not be impactful to business. So I think that testing early and testing frequently is a great piece of advice. Well, as we wrap up the episode, if people want to reach out to you, they want to be a customer, they want to be a client, they want to be an employee, they want to be an investor, they want to be your next best friend, any or all of the above, what's the best way to reach out to you, contact you, find out more?
Yep. Feel free to reach out us to on Taelor.style. That's Taelor.style. Taelor.style. Or email us at hi@taylor.style. And then also if you want to try to support the sustainability and join us in the circular fashion journey, you can use the coupon code Invented Journey, all caps, and to get 25% off for the first 2 months.
Awesome. Well, I definitely encourage people to take advantage of that great offer, and also check out the business, support them, and reach out, and if nothing else, make a new best friend. So with that, thank you again for coming on the podcast. It's been a pleasure. Now, for all of you that are listeners, if you have your own journey to tell and you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, we'd love to have you. So just go to inventiveguest.com, apply to be on the show. A couple more things as listeners, make sure to click share, subscribe, and leave us a review so we can make sure that everyone finds out about all these awesome journeys. And last but not least, you ever need help with your patents, your trademarks, or anything else with your startup or your small business, just go to strategymeeting.com, grab some time with us to chat, and we're always here to help. Well, thank you again, Anya, for coming on the podcast, and wish the next leg of your journey even better than the last.
Thank you so much. This is Anya Cheng from Taelor.